Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And as you know, there's probably an infinite amount of ways for you to take better portraits with your camera. I'm only going to concentrate on 5 areas that I believe that if you work on will greatly enhance the quality of your portraits. Let's get to it. The first thing that I would do is choose the correct lighting. Now, one lighting style, technique, or lighting setup in your studio doesn't work for everyone. Everyone's shaped differently, everyone has different skin complexions, and those skin complexions, those tones react differently with light. Some absorb more, some reflect more. To pay attention on choosing the right kind of lighting, depending on hard lighting, soft lighting, indoor LED lighting like I'm using now, as well as flash photography, because how you use that light is going to be dramatically different depending on the source of the light, the type of light that you're choosing. One thing is when you're shooting outdoors, whether it be overcast, the time of day can, if you're shooting outdoors, the time of the day is going to dramatically affect the kind of light that you're going to be able to use if you're not using flash photography. More in the daytime is going to give you very harsh, intense kind of a light, more dramatic difference between the highlights and the shadows within your subject in the frame. So like there's going to be deeper shadows here and much harsher highlights maybe up here because the sun is right overhead. Now in the golden hour, it's going to give you much more of a softer light fall off between highlights and shadows. So it's going to be a lot more complementary for portraits in general. That's why we tend to shoot in golden hour, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't shoot in the midday. All I'm saying is to make sure that you pay attention to that kind of lighting and how to use it to your advantage. That's why choosing and paying attention to the kind of lighting that you choose is going to greatly affect the quality of your portraits. The second tip that I want to share with you to take better portraits is to engage with your subject. That's right, you actually have to talk to them. For me, that process starts immediately through email, and hopefully as soon as I can get them on a Zoom or a phone call, that's when the communication and connection begins. Now, I would recommend to do so and consider it that the starting point starts then versus to when you just show up to your shoot, whether it be a free or a paid project. One thing is that you get the most out of people, and a lot of times subjects aren't accustomed to having a camera, let alone a professional camera with a big old lens pointing at them and maybe even a flash. It can be very intimidating for a lot of people. Being able for you to engage and communicate with your clients is going to help you bring down the tension and actually relate more and get the best out of your subject. That happened to me yesterday when I was capturing a young man looking to build up his portfolio, and he's only 17. He's never had this opportunity, but he said, hey, why not give it a shot? And through our conversation, I think we talked more than taking photos. And that allowed me to get some great photos and for him to feel comfortable that I have his best interest in heart. So again, speak to your clients, not only before the shoot, but during the shoot as well. It's going to help you to break down those barriers, as I mentioned, and also for you to really build a bond and most of all, a trust with your subject.
Oh, let me see. That's different.
The third advice that I'm going to share with you is for you to choose the right lens and aperture for your subject. Now, depending on the project, not one setup or aperture or lens even works for every subject. Some subjects may want some of the environment that they're in to be showcased along with them. So shooting wide open, high-speed sync is not going to work for every occasion. Be comfortable for stopping down your aperture to maybe 5.6, 6.3 to allow some of their environment. If you're shooting attorney, let's say portraits of an attorney, then you may want some of the office to be featured in allowing this viewer to see his professional environment. Now, there are times where you do want to isolate your subject. Let's say in a crowded environment, let's say in a courtyard or something like that, and you want to isolate them, but also show that they're outside. Shooting wide open could be a great way for you to isolate your subject and to make them shine. I really love using a 50mm lens. It's kind of my jack of all trades prime lenses, but it doesn't always provide the utility as well as the results that I want. Sometimes I want the background to be absolutely obliterated, full of bokeh. Well, guess what? An 85 or 135 or using my 7200 at 200mm might provide that result much easier than my 50mm would, because a lot of times I may have to get a little too close to my subject to provide that kind of a shot, and that might be a little intimidating for some subjects. So an 85 or 135 allows me to step back a little bit, but still be able to crush and compress that background and providing that results. Lenses to me are like brushes are to a painter. You don't have just one, but each one serves its own purpose. So the moral of the story is, as a portrait photographer, get used to and experiment how your subject is affected using different kind of lenses, and be ready to use the right one for the situation that you have to take care of. For my fourth tip, you should already know if you've been watching my videos, is that composition is king. That's right. Pay attention to your composition and background of the portraits you're about to take. I can't tell you how many times where people capture photos with a great camera, expensive lens, and all these wild settings and lighting, but yet the composition absolutely drags the photo down. Composition is what's going to take your photo from a snapshot to an absolute masterpiece every time. Of course, second to none is good lighting. You can't get around that, but man, composition is what seals the deal every time. That's why composition is king. Also, pay attention to that background. That's what's going to help to really drive home an effect or bring down that composition. There are so many fundamental rules to composition. What I did and what I recommend to you is literally Google photography composition rules and experiment with those, especially with your subject, and try to understand and look, how does it affect, or what story does it tell me using those specific compositional rules? That is the one thing that I believe has separated my photography from beginner to someone who should be taken serious, was my composition. Lighting is something that I always am excited to learn, and I think that it'll be a never-ending journey, but it's the composition that has allowed me to shoot great photos and also capture great video. Composition is king, so make sure you don't forget that and apply it as much as you can. Now, once you learn those fundamentals, break the rules. Go crazy. You don't have to live by them, but you should understand them. Here's one thing that I've noticed as well when it comes to beginning portrait photographers and more advanced ones, is that they have the composition down. They have the right lens choice, aperture, etc. They chose the great lighting. They are communicative, and then therefore they're able to get, this is the last one, the best poses and angles of the portraits. They know by communicating with them, seeing how they move throughout their talking throughout the photo shoot, how light reacts and where it's best to capture that photo. Sometimes that, you've heard where they say, what's your best side? Well, that's really true in a lot of cases. Not one pose is best for every subject. Just because you have a set of women poses, those poses don't work all the time for every single woman or man. Therefore, when you're talking and you have the right lighting, you have everything going, you could kind of see what works best for everyone, depending on the weight of your subject, the height of your subject. Not all poses work for everybody, okay? Depending on also what their wardrobe is. It may not be flattering, but it may be flattering on somebody else. But you should experiment with posing. Don't be afraid to ask. If you got the communication down, you two are building a bond, then guess what? It's that much easier to ask for different kind of poses. And I've noticed that the more I ask for more poses, the more comfortable the subject gets. So that's a benefit right there. Now, you may be asking, how do I learn what poses work for the kind of subjects I'm working with? Well, great. That first thing is look on Pinterest. Pinterest is a great source for me where I look up the kind of poses, and sometimes I even type in depending on the scenery that I might be in. So let's say male poses on beach, or female model on beach, something like that. And then I start to gather in my mind as I'm scrolling through Pinterest or even Google Images what poses I may want to try. I may even create a board on Pinterest and save my favorite photos and refer to them throughout the photo shoot. Now that also goes for wardrobe and hair and everything else. I would do the same thing. But in this case, we're talking about poses. Another thing is magazines. I know the things that we used to turn and have pages, guess what? That is a phenomenal source, as well as to fashion or portrait photography poses for you as well. So those are just a few sources that I look for to be inspired and to get ideas for better poses. So as I said earlier, communicate. If you got the communication, you got the lighting, you got the lenses, you got the composition, guess what? The posing is gonna be the final cherry on top for you to create very dynamic and impactful portraits. Okay, I know that portrait photography isn't just that simple. It isn't broken down to just 5 basic tips or tricks for you to capture stunning portraits. I'm still doing this 14 years later, and I'm still working on ways. I'm still looking for areas to be inspired so that I can hopefully take better portraits than I did last year. So it's a continuous process, but I believe out of the years of experience of me shooting for myself, my clients, for YouTube, that these 5 basic tips honestly are extremely impactful, get right to the matter in terms of turning your snapshot to a phenomenal shot when it comes to your portraits, okay? So if you don't like any of these and you think you got some better tips, well, feel free to post them down below. Let me hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like, that share, to subscribe, and yes, hit the bell icon to get notifications for my upcoming content. I'm Robert Silver, and until next time, keep shooting and stay creative.